For thousands of years, humans have looked to the stars for answers. Before we had telescopes, satellites, or modern science, the night sky was a map, mysterious, vast, and full of patterns waiting to be interpreted. From those patterns, astrology was born. People believed that the position of the planets at the moment of their birth shaped their destiny, personality, and even daily events. The zodiac signs became symbols of identity. Horoscopes became guidance. And to this day, astrology remains one of the most popular belief systems in the world. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No scientific evidence has ever supported astrology. Not once. Not partially. Not vaguely. Despite centuries of belief, astrology has consistently failed every serious test. And yet, millions of people continue to check their horoscopes, identify with their signs, and make decisions based on planetary alignments. So the real question is not just whether astrology is real, it's why we still believe it. Astrology originated in ancient Babylon over 2,000 years ago. From there, it spread to Greece, Rome, and the Islamic world, evolving along the way. Back then, astronomy and astrology were one and the same. The early astrologers were also astronomers, watchers of the sky, trackers of celestial cycles. But something crucial happened during the scientific revolution. Astronomy became a science. Astrology did not. Science is based on evidence, testability, and prediction. It asks, can we measure it? Can we test it? And can we reproduce it? Astrology fails all three. It cannot be reliably tested. It makes vague and contradictory predictions, and when it is tested, it fails. One of the most famous studies on astrology was conducted by Sean Carlson in 1985 and published in Nature, one of the most respected scientific journals in the world. In a double-blind test, professional astrologers were asked to match natal charts with psychological profiles. They failed completely. Their success rate was no better than chance. Other studies have repeated this kind of testing over the decades, and the results have always been the same. Astrologers cannot consistently match charts to people's personalities. They cannot predict outcomes. And when participants are given multiple horoscope descriptions and asked which one fits them best, they often choose randomly, unable to identify their true sign at all. Still, many say, but my horoscope describes me perfectly. That's where psychology comes in. The human mind is wired to find patterns. It's how we survive, how we learn, how we navigate the world. But this pattern recognition system is not perfect. It's biased. One of those biases is called the Barnum effect. The Barnum effect refers to our tendency to believe vague general statements as uniquely true about ourselves. For example, you have a deep need for others to like and admire you, but you also tend to be critical of yourself. Nearly everyone would agree with that. It feels personal, but it isn't. It's crafted to sound universal. Horoscopes and zodiac descriptions are full of Barnum statements. They sound specific, but they're not. They're carefully worded to feel relatable. So when you read that your sign is creative, passionate, and independent, you nod. Because those traits are flattering, and because we all like to feel seen. Another factor is confirmation bias. When we believe something, we start looking for evidence that supports it, and we ignore what contradicts it. So if your horoscope says you'll face conflict today, and later someone cuts you off in traffic, you think, wow, it was right. But if nothing unusual happens, you don't remember it. The mind filters reality to fit the belief. Then there's the Forer effect, similar to the Barnum effect, but demonstrated through controlled experiments. Psychologist Bertram Forer once gave his students what he claimed were personalized personality analyses based on a test they had taken. In reality, every student received the exact same description, and nearly all of them rated it as highly accurate. That's what astrology relies on, not evidence, but psychology. It doesn't work because it's true. It works because we want it to. And when science puts it under the microscope, it falls apart. Despite its popularity, astrology is not a science. And it's important to understand why. Science relies on precise measurements, falsifiable predictions, and consistent replication. Astrology offers none of these. Its claims are not grounded in physics, biology, or psychology. They are based on symbolic associations drawn from ancient myths and outdated cosmology. Let's take the zodiac itself. The 12 astrological signs are based on constellations the sun appeared to pass through during the year, 2,000 years ago. But due to a phenomenon called precession of the equinoxes, caused by the slow wobble of Earth's axis, the positions of the constellations have shifted. This means that the sun no longer aligns with the same constellations on the same dates. If you were born under the sign of Leo 2,000 years ago, the sun really was in the constellation Leo. Today, on that same date, it might be in Cancer or even Virgo. Yet astrology has not adjusted for this. It clings to an outdated celestial map that no longer matches reality. Then there's the issue of gravity. Astrologers claim that the positions of planets at the moment of birth influence our personalities. But from a physics standpoint, this doesn't make sense. The gravitational pull of the obstetrician delivering a baby is stronger than that of Mars or Jupiter. The hospital's location, the time of birth, the season, the culture, all these factors matter far more than the position of a distant rock in space. And if planetary influence were truly powerful, identical twins born under the exact same sky should have identical lives and personalities. They don't. Countless twin studies have shown major differences in career, relationships, and behavior, despite sharing a birth chart. In fact, large-scale statistical reviews have searched for correlations between astrological signs and personality traits. The results are consistently null. A 2003 study involving more than 2,000 people found no evidence that astrological sign was related to personality, intelligence, or behavior. The data simply does not support the claims. Yet astrology persists. Why? Because it offers comfort. It provides a sense of meaning, identity, and control. In a chaotic world, astrology says, you are this way for a reason. Your life has a pattern. The universe sees you. That message is powerful, even if it's not true. Astrology also thrives because it adapts. Today's horoscopes don't make bold predictions about disasters or death. They offer advice, reassurance, and mild warnings. They sound like life coaching. And because they don't commit to anything concrete, they're harder to disprove. But not being disprovable is exactly why astrology isn't scientific. A real scientific theory takes risks. It makes specific predictions. It invites testing. Astrology avoids all of that. It survives not because it passes tests, but because it avoids them altogether. Some defenders argue that astrology is just for fun or a cultural practice, and that's valid, as long as it's not mistaken for truth. The danger comes when people use astrology to make serious life decisions, when they trust star charts over medical advice, when they let birth signs dictate relationships, careers, or identity. And this happens more often than we think. Apps and influencers now monetize astrology at massive scale. Millions follow daily horoscopes. Algorithms generate personalized star charts. People spend money on readings, compatibility reports, and astrological coaching. It's a billion-dollar industry built on belief. But belief is not evidence. And astrology, for all its appeal, remains what it has always been: a human attempt to find meaning in the stars. Poetic, symbolic, culturally rich, but not real. Astrology may not be real, but its influence on culture is undeniable. For centuries, it shaped decisions made by kings, generals, and philosophers. It dictated planting seasons, marriage dates, and political strategies. Entire civilizations believed the stars controlled their fate. But belief alone does not make something true. Bloodletting was once common medical practice. Alchemy once guided science. People once believed the Earth was flat and at the center of the universe. These ideas fell one by one, not because they were unpopular, but because evidence proved them wrong. Astrology belongs to that same category, a once sophisticated system that has been outpaced and outclassed by real understanding. Modern psychology, neuroscience, and astronomy explain the same phenomena more accurately and more usefully than astrology ever could. Do you want to understand your personality? Study cognitive biases, brain chemistry, developmental psychology. Want to make better life decisions? Learn about behavioral economics, emotional regulation, and self-reflection. The answers are here, real, measurable, and accessible. You don't need Mars to be in retrograde to explain a bad day. You don't need your rising sign to understand your emotions. You don't need cosmic permission to change your life. Astrology is attractive because it tells us we are special, that we are part of a grand cosmic design. But science tells us something even more powerful, that we are made of the same atoms as the stars, that our consciousness is the result of billions of neurons working together, that our choices, though complex, are our own. Science doesn't give us destiny. It gives us freedom, and that may be why some still resist it, because freedom is terrifying. Responsibility is heavy. It's easier to blame Mercury for miscommunication than to admit we were careless. It's easier to say, it's written in the stars, than to accept that life is unpredictable and often unfair. But maturity means facing that uncertainty. It means letting go of comforting illusions in favor of truth, even if that truth is harder to accept. And the truth is this: astrology doesn't work. Not because we haven't studied it enough, but because it was never based on reality in the first place. People often say, but what's the harm? Astrology gives people hope. It makes them feel understood. And it's true, many find comfort in it. It can feel harmless, even poetic. But comfort is not the same as truth. And when belief replaces evidence, when symbols are mistaken for facts, we lose our grip on reality. Astrology may feel personal. It may feel accurate, but feelings are not proof. The position of Jupiter did not shape your personality. Venus did not choose your romantic destiny. Mercury in retrograde did not crash your computer. What did? Your biology, your upbringing, your choices, your circumstances. Things we can study, understand, and act upon. That's the difference. Science builds understanding. Astrology builds stories. Science adapts, evolves, corrects itself. Astrology repeats itself, unchanged for centuries, unaffected by new discoveries, untouched by data. We can admire astrology as part of human history, as myth, as metaphor, but we cannot confuse it with knowledge, and we should not let it guide how we live, who we love, or what we believe about ourselves. Because when we surrender reason for intuition, evidence for tradition, we don't become enlightened. We become vulnerable. Vulnerable to manipulation, false certainty, and wishful thinking. The universe is already full of wonder. You don't need astrology to be extraordinary. You already are. Not because you were born under a lucky star, but because your brain is capable of thought, reflection, and imagination. Because you can observe reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. And that's far more powerful than anything the Zodiac could ever promise. So ask questions. Demand evidence. Embrace doubt. Because truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is what truly sets us free.